Welcome to Horse Racing Plus. I'm Alan, your host. Many of you know me as Al. My brother calls me Al. August 23rd, 2024. It's been a while. Been taking care of a lot of stuff recently. Haven't been able to do the show like I usually do. Help assisting with a family member who's been sick. Thankfully, they're recovering. So, big week coming up, Travers Week, next Saturday. So that's going to be fantastic. Yesterday, we had the Pacific Coast Classic, and Knightsbridge wins. So we're going to be looking at him in the Breeders' Cup. What a dynamic horse. We've had some excellent horses running this year. Of course, there's the disappointment of White Barrio retiring and journalism retiring. But what I'm going to be looking at here right now, I'm deciding on, I think I may be able to do a live show this afternoon. I know Saratoga's running, and of course, Delmar is running. The thing with Saratoga is they've gotten a lot of rain. The track is listed as sloppy. So, do you really want to handicap that card and waste your time? I didn't download any Thorograph yet. I'm waiting on that. I want to see the track conditions at Saratoga and the scratches. But also, Delmar had some big races today. And they for the 50-cent pick 3. They get started later today at 5 o'clock, which probably fits things. My schedule better. There's things I got to take care of today, and I don't want to rush around and play Saratoga with this wet track. So how's everybody doing? It's good to be back. This week, I'm planning on doing some Travers-related shows, most likely a live show with my usual panel of guests, Robert Fornero. He usually joins me. And many of you know him as Eugene Pontecorvo from The Sopranos, and also the amazing John DeSilva, who wrote for the New York Post for 19 years, lead racing analyst. We've done a number of shows before, delivered a lot of big winners. So we'll most likely be doing a Travers show, giving our selections, not only for the Travers, but some of the big races, all the G1s that run there. I've been to the Travers a number of times, including last year. And Robert, on the show, he delivered the pick 5 for Travers Day. So there's a chance I'll be going to the Travers. And so that looks like a dynamic race with Renegade running and Golden Tempo, the Derby winner, and also the Belmont Stakes winner. But there's others in there as well. But one horse that's really caught my eye is Englishman, who will be running a 3-year-old for Cherie DeVoe. So she's been having a fantastic year up there at Saratoga. So she's going to be there, and so we'll be there, maybe there for the Travers. I put that as maybe a 25% chance of making over there for the Travers. Now, let's have some coffee here. What's the coffee today? Nothing fancy. We're going to have some Dunkin' Donuts. Coffee of go-getters, people who stop for coffee on the way to work in the morning, and no nonsense. It always delivers a good cup. Excellent. So let me just see here. I get caught up. I'm going to talk a little bit about these cards. I see there are a couple of comments in here. Let's see who's jumping in. James White. James, always a pleasure. Breeders' Cup Classic, Bill Mott loaded. How's it going, James? Good to see you there. Bill Mott, always dangerous, and we're really looking forward to seeing Forever Young in the Jockey Club Gold Cup. And that is an event I'm definitely going to be going to. It's opening day at the new Belmont Park. So a lot of people are going to be there, and I believe post time is at 2 o'clock. And September 18th is the day. Jockey Club Gold Cup, always one of my favorite races. When I first got started in handicapping, I was a racing fan for years, going back to the 70s, including Secretariat. That was the first time I really watched a big race on TV. And in Secretariat won, and I was hooked from that day on, always following racing, the big races, the Kentucky Derby at least. And then in later years, the Triple Crown, all those horses were charismatic. And all those horses along the way rode to the Triple Crown. But I really got started in handicapping and learned how to read the racing form in 2007. So, of course, I went on a date, right? We went to the first date. We ended up being together for 4 years. This girlfriend and I, first date, we wound up going to the track. And it turns out, she used to have a boyfriend that was a big horse player. So, I suggested the track because sometimes I'd like to go to the track, right? And throw a couple of bucks around here and there. But I really didn't read racing form. She knew the racing form already. And her eyes lit up when I suggested going to the track. Yeah, I usually use the track for dating stepping stone. So then I started reading the form in 2007, and Curlin caught my eye. And I started winning pretty good, really. The first day I played reading the form, it was the Preakness Day. And Curlin, of course, he won the Preakness. And so I got started in 2007. So I went to the Jockey Club Gold Cup that year, and he won that. And then I went to the Jockey Club Gold Cup in 2008, and Curlin won again. And so, it became Curlin was my favorite horse that year right away. I loved the name, and I liked his speed figures. And so that's always been has a special place in my heart, the Jockey Club Gold Cup. So this year, it's really going to be special with now Forever Young there, and probably other horses like Magnitude, I would imagine, is going to be there. And who knows who else? I haven't really checked the field. So Jockey Club Gold Cup. And it's the first opening day at the new Belmont Park. So let me move in a little closer here and take a look at some of these races today. Fast horses today. Hey, fast horses today. Now, that's a good question. I haven't even gotten to that. That's a thought. I wasn't even aware that the situation was going on. Knightsbridge or Sovereignty? I'd say at this point, I'd say he'd go, how does he get off How does he get off either of these horses? Knightsbridge, I would put Knightsbridge ahead of Sovereignty. But how do you get him off Sovereignty? And how do you get him off Knightsbridge? That is a great question. Great question. Fast horses today. A flip of a coin. It may, James, it might even come down to something like that. Because I think both horses are almost impossible to go off. Who would I rather ride? I'd rather ride Knightsbridge. Knightsbridge in that race. Sovereignty. I see Knightsbridge as a faster horse, more electric. So I would imagine he goes with Knightsbridge. He's already lost a couple of times this year on Sovereignty. Yeah, Sovereignty looked great in the last race. We expected that, though. After the long layoff and the third back. But as far as today goes, I just want to see the track conditions for today. At last I know, it's sloppy. I don't want to download data yet and spend money on something that turns out to be a messy card. Saratoga, for example. We got a ton of rain entries today. And I just want to see the latest on this. Now, Del Mar has a better card. And Del Mar, the weather there is beautiful. And they have some big races there. 9 races in all. They get started at 5. Last post time of the last race is the 9th race is 9:24. I like the 50-cent pick 3. But what I like here even more, they have very, very, very big fields. For example, they have a 3-year-old and up turf sprint, the 5th race. Okay, it's a maiden special weight, 80,000, 3 and up. Now, maiden special weight, 3 and up. There are still maidens at that 3-year-olds. So these are horses that really maidens, and I see the field 14 horses listed. So a bunch of some probably are ultimate entries, right? I don't know. I haven't seen the PPs yet. But what I'm looking at is the 7th race for 3-year-olds. For 3-year-olds, the Caesars Sportsbook Del Mar Derby, purse 300,000. Turf race, mile and an eighth. 9 horses listed. Some of the jockeys running in there of note: Joel Rosario, Umberto Rispoli, Kumara, Hernandez running for Mullins. So you got a $300,000 race in the 8th. And I can't stress that 50-cent pick 3 anymore. So that's the big race. $300,000 race. So something I don't like about this, they do have the pick 6 that starts in race 4. Would you believe this is the first time I've seen this? A $2 minimum on the pick 6 that will discourage a lot of players. Peter Miller there in the first race. It's Miller time. When it's time to relax. So that's what's going on over there. So Del Mar looks like a good card. Best of all, the 5 o'clock start runs into the evening. You got your day open. And now we're going to go to, and they run through 9 o'clock at night. Even if you want to jump in for the late pick 4 or pick 5, then you could really experiment with the bigger races. Now the Saratoga card, I imagine it's going to be nice. They do offer 10 races at Saratoga. And on the DRF site, they're listing the turf as sloppy. Does that mean that they're most likely going to come off the turf? I don't know. Let me look at let me see if they mention anything about this. I know the weather's going to be clear over there, but after all that rain, let's see. Let me go to the NYRA site and see if they mention anything. Or who's even my better bet there? Go to the Twitter site and see what Andy Serling has to say. He usually weighs in. The incomparable Andy Serling. Okay. Because I've narrowed it down to those 2 tracks. I'll do one or the other. Okay, now I didn't get an opportunity to watch Saratoga yesterday. I really didn't cover any tracks or look at racing. The only one that interested me, since I was going to have the time to be involved, it was still a little hectic, but now it's opening up, was the Pacific Coast Classic. Of course, Knightsbridge once, but I see Andy Serling is saying about yesterday And I didn't realize there was a disqualification in the Boston Spa. And I know the favor. I did watch that race. That's one race I did watch too, because favored. I was interested in the 3-horse, the Cherie Deveau horse, um, that Satin horse, whatever its name was, with Jose and Cherie Deveau. He says it's a bad precedent when you don't disqualify the first finisher in Boston Spa. Oh, so they didn't. It's also worth noting that while it isn't something they advocate, and one more time also pretty much eliminated Suggesta at the break. Wow. Okay, so no real report from Andy. So let's go to the weather. Saratoga weather. Because I don't want to play a sloppy track today, or one with a lot of scratches or races off the turf. Saratoga Springs weather. But the big news this week really is Travers Week. Oh, geez. They're showing Saratoga Sunday. Thunderstorms, clouds, and sun. So let's break it down. When is this all going to happen? So I got the hourly weather for Saratoga. All right, listen to this. I know I'm not playing Saratoga, or at least covering it with a show. Okay, right now it's cloudy out. It's cloudy out until 1. Now remember, post time is I think 1:10 over there. Now at 2 o'clock, and they're going to be running through 6 o'clock, after 6 o'clock at night. 2 o'clock, showers. 3 o'clock, if you're going to Saratoga today, bring the umbrella. Heavy thunderstorms, 78%. That's at 3 o'clock. At 4 o'clock, it doesn't say heavy thunderstorms, but it still says thunderstorms. So between 2 and 4 o'clock, give or take, maybe it goes a little longer, we're talking horrible weather at Saratoga. So you know I'm not going to be there, covering that track. John Berry, morning, been a while. Hey, John, how's it going? Yeah, it's taking care of assisting family health issues that's went on for more than a couple of months. And now, thank heavens, they're doing much better. And, they're back in the saddle. So we're going to be opening up with more shows going forward now. And this, it's been a rough stretch for a couple of months. So that's why I really haven't been out there. I did squeeze in a couple of shows on the big days. But John, welcome. Thanks for joining us. And John, also you select. He's going to be on Sovereignty for the Breeders' Cup. The Derby winner. I think you got it. I think you got it right here, John. Probably going to be. How can he go off a Kentucky Derby winner and also a Travers winner? And the one thing about Sovereignty, though, to keep in mind is he doesn't travel well. Keep him locally. Like he won the Whitney at Saratoga. I mean, he was he was stable there. He didn't have to travel at all. Works out there, just goes out to the track, wins the race, and then goes back to his home. So but when he has to shift around, like the Breeders' Cup last year, ends up scratching out of that, which was an absolute disaster. So let's see, but I agree. He keeps up the mount on Sovereignty. 7th Group. Hey, 7th Group. Keep up the great work, Al. Thanks very much, 7th Group. And thanks for weighing in. So where was I? The weather. All right. That's what I see as far as the weather goes at Saratoga. They've eliminated, the weather has eliminated Saratoga for the mix. So that's what's going on there. I may be doing a partial, maybe a late pick for Del Mar show today, or seeing what it looks like, maybe the whole card. I got some things to do today, and I wasn't going to rush to get to Saratoga, so I could take it at a leisurely pace, maybe join a friend for something to eat, or get some coffee, talk some horse racing and life. But we may be going to the Travers, on Saturday. And I'll have to keep an eye on the weather. It seems like one thing I got to say, though, maybe I'm a good luck charm for this Travers, is every time I went to the Travers, and that's a number of times, it's like the Jockey Club Gold Cup. I always try and make it to that race. Every time I've been to the Travers, the weather has been mint. So maybe I should make a point to definitely go. So guarantee that we have good conditions at the track. We'll see. I'm not going to push it. But I'll tell you this, and mark my words, if I'm not at the Travers live, giving you updates throughout the day and making my picks over the cell phone here on YouTube, I'll be covering the Travers card with a live show. So either way, you'll be getting your selections for the Travers. So that's what's going on there. Let me just see if I'm missing something. Maybe you don't want to play Saratoga. Maybe you don't want to play Del Mar. Let's see if there's another track that's bringing us some good, interesting races today. So let's see. Let's go over to Gulfstream. I think I saw Monmouth is running today. The house of Joe Bravo, and probably Paco is running there. Let's see what the Monmouth card looks like. They only have 9 races. Let's look at some of the jockeys who are running it okay. I'm seeing the first race. Who are the jockeys who are running at Monmouth today? That's a beautiful track, pristine. You could eat off the floor, beautiful white and green tiled floors, and the beautiful paddock area. And of course, it's racing down the Jersey Shore. How can you beat that, right? I see some of the horses. Paco Lopez is in the first race. Chantal Sutherland is racing there. She's on Postino's Prophecy and 5-1. And the opening favorite is Paco Lopez. He's like a boss around that place. One Fine Wine, 9-5. Let's see if some of the names of these jockeys. Let's see. I'm wondering if Joe Bravo is in today. Paco's in the second. No Chantal. Paco running in the third. Now, what are the odds of Paco's horse in the second? 5-2. In the third, he is on a 6-5 shot. Cairo Surprise for Lynch. Okay, Graham Motion, a trainer over there. Okay, who's in the fourth race? Who else? Chantal is in the fourth race. Epic Blockage, 8-1. And Paco on Nila de Blue, number 10, 3-1. See, he gets all good mounts. Sometimes you see these jockeys going crazy, winning all these races, winning the jockey title. Keep in mind, and most of you probably do keep this in mind, but those of you who are new to racing, always winning all these races, they get the best mounts. And speaking of getting the best mounts, now, who knows how long Irad Ortiz is going to be laid up? There's something with his ankle, something that occurred pre-race, before the race started, and he's laid up right at this big time of year, Travers Day. He probably 14 races on Travers Day. And how many races would he have been in? And speaking of jockey titles, who's been riding lights out, who's really come into his own now, who's winning all the time, Manny Franco. He won 5 races last week, I believe. Okay, 5th race at Monmouth. The weather got to be pretty good there. Paco's running on a 3-2 shot in the 5th. Chantel is running on Cool Spite, a 5-1 shot in the 6th. Paco on a bomb. And the name of the horse, number 7, opens at 10-1. She's a bombshell. Those of you who just joining us, Dunkin' Donuts coffee today. Happy Sunday, everybody. Good luck today, whether you're playing the races or not. Some other jockeys that are popping out here, I got to mention some of them. Chantel, she's running in the 7th again. Giant James, the rail, 4-1 for Trader Harris. Some other jockeys, Ocasio. I don't trust that jockey at all. I've seen, he very suspicious rides when you expect him to do nothing. Runs a big race when he's on a horse that figures to be around. Looks like he fades out of the picture, and I even wonder, it's like, what's happening here? Or he runs one of these races where he runs up front and he falls back. Looks like he's out of it. Makes another big run and just misses. I hated that. You know who's famous for that? You'd have to go back maybe 10 years or so, maybe a little bit more. Recent, what's his name? Cornelio Velasquez, the master of just missing in a race that he should have won. And then he runs away with a race. The horse figures to do nothing. Paco on the 13 horse in there in the 7th. Given Monmouth, they do have a stakes there, but it's a small stakes. But I guess it's the race of the day at Monmouth, a $75,000 race, the 11 North handicap. Chantel on a 30-1 shot. She's getting a lot of action today for fans of Chantel. And am I saying? And Paco is on a 3-1 shot. La Resolana. 9th race. Now you see, okay, they're listing the turf as sloppy. Okay, at Monmouth. That's an early report. So they got a lot of rain there too. Most likely either yesterday or this morning. It didn't really rain here yesterday in the New York area. Well, where I am, it's over 200 miles from Saratoga. Same state, but different stratosphere, right? But there's okay. So that's the deal over at Monmouth. Any other tracks? I think Ellis Park is running today. They have at least a little bit better. You have Los Alamitos. Why would you play that track when they're running at Del Mar? Beyond me. Woodbine has some big races. Weather looks like they might get a little rain over there. All right. I see it pretty cut and dry. If you're going to play the races today, it has to be. It doesn't have to. There are 2 premier tracks today, are Saratoga and Del Mar. Let me just see. It's a little after 10. Maybe they have a report. Let me check the scratches. Maybe we have an early report on the track conditions over at Saratoga. Saratoga scratches. And we're off. Okay. Is that yesterday's report? Sunday. All right. Hang on. We might have some good news, folks. We might have some very good news. How is this possible? They are listing the track as fast and firm at Saratoga. There's hardly any scratches at all. Currently it's 66 degrees. This was updated 15 minutes ago. It's 10:32 now. They are listing the turf as firm. And the dirt track is listed as fast. Rail, the inner, it's set at 27 feet. No, and on the melon track, 18 feet. Pick 6, no carryover. Pick 5, no carryover. Listen to these scratches. In the first race, scratch number 8 and number 10. And you have to go all the way to the 8th race to get a scratch number 1. Now listen to this. I just saw something here. In the first race, the 2 scratches are main track onlys, so we remain on the turf. So really no scratches in the first race. And that first scratch pops up in the 8th. Number 1, Moongate, early, private vet, injured. So you got 1 scratch, the 8th. Now come 10th, we have a steward scratch, the 11 horse, and number 15 is a main track only. So technically so that stays on the turf. So technically we only have 2 scratches today over there. I want to just check one last thing. Because I see the scratches were in the 8th and the 10th, in only 1 horse. 1 through 7 were good. Okay, Saratoga today, they have 10 races. Del Mar, race 9. So maybe, just maybe, this might be a day where I get some of this stuff done and do Saratoga instead of Del Mar and leave the evening free. Maybe catch a movie, maybe, go out to eat. So I'll have to think about that. In the meantime, let me get going, get cracking on this. This way keeps the options open. I just wanted to weigh in and let everybody know that it's taking care of, helping out. There was a family that was dealing with health issues for the last couple of months, almost 3 months. And they're out of the woods and they're getting around now and on the up and on the mend. So look for more shows, possibly a live show today, and some Travis shows during the week. Pacific Coast Classic, Knightsbridge gets it done. Alvarado, who does he ride in the Breeders' Cup Classic? Sovereignty or Knightsbridge? Big questions here. It's a tough decision. Keep in mind, if you're playing Saratoga, ankle injury to Irad Ortiz, out indefinitely. We don't know when he's going to be back. Tough time to go out, especially with Travis Week coming up. So I want to wish everybody a great Sunday. Thanks for watching. You're playing today, ice water in the veins. Yeah, you don't want to, be an emotional basket case, win or lose, when you play in the races. Okay. So good luck. Have a great Sunday. All the best and talk with you soon.